Hey, baby. Welcome back to the fucking Food Network. The only place to come get your food porn. And now, smoked chicken.
Live from somewhere we would not let you have access to unless you paid off the security guard, it's KPBC News with your lead anchor, Anchor Cat. Greetings, I'm Anchor Cat, and we've worked real hard to bring you these stories we're pretty sure you're going to want to know about. But if not, please don't tell us, because we're all very, very busy people. First up, a class action lawsuit has been filed against author J.K. Rowling. This suit has been filed on behalf of every transgender fan of Harry Potter who spent decades of their life buying books, movies, and merchandise, helping to enrich Ms. Rowling, and who have now been shunned and ostracized by Rowling's new anti-trans, pro-bigotry stance. The suit alleges that Rowling duped and intentionally defrauded transgender fans into supporting her work by pretending to create a fictional story whose themes were to not hate people for how they were born and to stand up for marginalized people, and that Rowling's recent descent into anti-transgender political views constitutes a willful lie and fraud. As the case winds itself through court, we'll keep you abreast of any changes.
In our next story, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis issued a flurry of new orders today. One of them was aimed at a classic rock band. For more on this peculiar story, here's reporter Cal Baconburger. Cal?
Anchor Cat, I just got done speaking with Jeremy Miertelips, a spokescunt for Governor DeSantis. He gave me some details on the new order he just signed this morning.
Cal, it's really very simple. Our governor understands that owning the libs is the most important thing that any voter in this state wants him to do. And in order to own the libs, he needs to win and fight in the culture wars. You know, while homeowners insurance rates might be skyrocketing here and companies are leaving instead of paying the money they need to give homeowners to rebuild those homes that were destroyed in Hurricane Ian, DeSantis knows that helping those cucks nowhere near as important as some political theater that's going to be deemed unconstitutional even by a Trump-appointed justice. So that's why he is signing his executive order today. And now the band Black Sabbath has exactly 24 hours from this point to change their names to just Sabbath. Although, I gotta say, a lot of us around the office here think that White Sabbath has a little better ring to it.
Mr. Miertelips told me that the order was signed because the governor feels it's, quote, reverse racist and anti-white, unquote, for them to be black anything. And he also feels emphasizing the word Sabbath would comfort evangelical Christians whose fragile feelings are so important to protect. From here in Florida, this is Cal Baconburger. Back to you, Anchor Cat. Let's get a look at the weather with our own Billy Precipitation. Billy, what's the forecast for this weekend?
Well, the forecast is actually pretty terrible, Anchor Cat.
Oh, why? Big storm front coming? Hurricane? Tornado? Locust swarm?
Oh, you meant the weather forecast, didn't you? Geez, sorry about that. I was just saying how my personal forecast is terrible, Anchor Cat. Because my landlord has evicted me because he says I haven't paid rent in a year. Which is completely true, because I spent all my money on vintage pugs and cocaine, top ramen, so I'm going to not only be single, because my wife left me for my brother and moved to Arizona last year, I'm also going to be homeless soon, Anchor Cat.
But the weather this weekend will be pretty good, right, Billy?
Oh yeah, sunny as fuck, really.
Awesome, because I'm going to go surfing with Johnny Buttdust this weekend. So that's great news, Billy. Let's pause for a station break and we'll be right back with more news after this.
The real winner of the 2020 election. Saddam's massive stockpile of weapons of mass destruction. Trickle-down economics actually working. Ask your cable or satellite provider if you can get the Untrue History Channel today, and you'll never be confronted with uncomfortable realities again.
Still to come this season on The Veal House Husbands of North San Diego County.
Oh yeah? Mention it all, Billy. We all make mistakes, Billy, but at least I'm not going to jail for tax fraud like you, Billy. Clip.
You know, I didn't mean to get so mad and bring up Billy going to jail for tax fraud soon, but he really should not have insulted my mom like that. It's not her fault that she has uncontrollable farting since she was part of a government experiment on dairy cows in the late 80s, and Billy knows that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I think I'm just going to talk to the guys in the band. I like a lot of what we're doing. I think, man, we just wrote what I think is like the best song we've ever written, and is probably the best song ever written. So in a way, I understand why they want to make our band name what it is, but it just feels like, I don't know, it feels like maybe it's really aggressive. And I know we're better than the Beatles, but to call ourselves better than the Beatles, it's like, is the world ready to hear that? And that's what I worry about. I hope they are. Fingers crossed that people are ready to hear it, Not the song, they're ready to hear the song. I just mean ready to hear that we're better than the Beatles, ready to accept it,
The Canadian National Board of Comedic Integrity has issued an emergency request to all comedians that they stop using tired, hacky, trite stereotypes when referencing Canada and Canadian people, particularly when using a fake Canadian accent. We interviewed the Canadian Prime Minister and we'll tell you what all the fuss is about at 11. Now let's take you out to Hershey Highway, Kentucky. That's where a woman has become famous locally for a response to a question on a job application.
I still don't know what the big deal is. I just put making avocado toast while waiting for a boomer to vacate the position I'm applying for.
Authorities in Georgia are telling members of the press today reports of 2 teenage boys creating a life form have been substantiated. We take you now live to a press conference being held in Goats Harbor, Georgia. There, officials are briefing the press on the situation as they are aware of it.
Well, that's what we believed was the case until this morning. However, it turns out that some of the initial details in the police investigation weren't quite right.
Which of course is not the fault of the police doing the investigation, or me, who was supposed to vet all the details of the first report they wrote on their first investigation.
Of course not, Chief Bangers and Mash. We all know every police officer is literally genetically incapable of being wrong. At any rate, folks, it turns out that 2 teenage boys did in fact create a life form, and that life form did in fact go on to become a member of Congress. However, they didn't just print her out of their home computer like some kind of farcical romp of a film.
Yeah, these little shits was wicked smart. They had, beakers and centrifuges and shit.
That's, right. Thanks, Councilman Cheesecorn.
Their own computer right there in their own room. They could go click, click with a little device with their hands. Protractor so they could measure angles.
And with insights like that, I am just ever more grateful that the town decided to make one council seat awarded by random lottery. As I was saying, these young men created this life form out of a jar of Hellmann's mayonnaise and the DNA of General Robert E. Lee that they recovered from the rectum of one of his horse's corpses.
We've reached out to Dr. Benson Ornedu at the National Academy of Forensic Fuckery, and he has promised to work with the 2 boys to determine just how much of her is mayonnaise and how much is Lee's horse asshole cum remnants.
We'll bring you more of this press conference in our 11 o'clock broadcast. For absolutely no reason at all, wink wink, we reached out to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's office for a comment on this story, but did not hear back before we went on the air. It's time for a commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's fall, and that can only mean one thing. It's pumpkin spice and dice thrice as nice time again at your local Tongue Twisters restaurant. That's right. Every Wednesday between 4 p.m. and 4:45 p.m. each week between now and next week, you can get 3 pumpkin spice inspired items from our pumpkin spice inspired menu for just $14.99 per plate per item. With prices like these, no wonder Burlington, Vermont's local newspaper editorial board called us, quote, a restaurant that exists. Thanks, Uncle Joe. So hurry on into your local Tongue Twisters now, because pumpkin spice and dice thrice as nice time won't last forever, but the pumpkin spice diarrhea certainly will feel like it does.
What is the deal with people who think they deserve water, food, shelter, and medicine just because they're alive? Who are these people?
Billionaire sociopath D-bags in cars talking shit like a-holes. Streaming everywhere.
I'm Pastor Jim Thompson, which of course most of you already know, because you're watching our church's YouTube channel right now. And that's why you're seeing this commercial. At any rate, I started the Triple K Church 20 years ago because I wasn't happy with how urban tolerant the Southern Baptists were being towards rap music. And it's with the same kind of spirit of defending traditional Christian Western cock Asian, Western, Caucasian values that I hope you'll join me over on Net Crucifix, the only streaming service run by and for white nationalist American evangelical patriots such as myself, and hopefully you as well.
As a true blue, rock-ribbed conservative Christian, I love America. Just not, like 70 to 80% of people who call themselves Americans. And I really don't like the woke TV shows and movies that they like, so that's why I'm glad that Net Crucifix is here to serve me up the best in D-grade quality scripts written by Ben Shapiro and performed by alleged actors such as Gina Carano, Rob Schneider, and that old guy who used to play Hercules, apparently.
Net Crucifix. Fundamental entertainment for fundamentalists. Log on to netcrucifix.com to sign up today.
Look at them go. Who knew masculinity could be purchased with a simple press of one pay button, and you and your testosterone would become the thing of legend? You could be rocking a stash. Listen up, you get 2 for the price of 3. You get 2. That's 2 mustaches. Come on. If you send $5.99 plus shipping and handling, chsn.com, you too could be rocking this mustache. I must ask you a question. Would you hate yourself if you didn't look like a man today? Don't you fail the testosterone call today, and you'd have a firm, obvious, generous, giving boner between your pants if your sexual partner could see that you have a mustache. It's only logical, and it's only masculine, and it's all you, and it's on your top lip. You can put it on your chin if you want. I guess you have to. If you push that pay button, be a man as soon as 2 to 3 business days when this delivers at your door.
Are you worried about windmill cancer? You shouldn't be. You're not a fucking idiot. Oh, but in case you are worried about windmill cancer, don't be, you fucking idiot. Are you looking for a career in law enforcement but aren't sure you're racist enough to beat people of color during routine traffic stops? Then do we have exciting news? The Texas State Uterine Patrol is looking for authoritarian asshole men just like you to help them investigate every miscarriage for possible criminal abortion cover-up activity. Here in Texas, we respect freedom and liberty, such as the freedom to put an ultrasound wand in your cooch and the liberty to do it to your sister too. So if subjugating women and turning them into birthing cows sounds like your idea of law and order, join the Texas Uterine Patrol today.
The a-hole. Because paying $15 for a single patty burger is what keeps the commies at bay.
Tonight on Guns Rule, we discuss why everything from violent video games to the chemical compounds in Twinkie cream are to blame and should be the focus of our outrage over gun violence and not in any way, shape, or form guns.
Honestly, I don't think taking a woman's dominion over her own pussy away from her does nearly enough to protect the unborn. They could still, in theory, vote for politicians that will give them those rights back. So clearly, it's also time to repeal the 19th Amendment as well, because women just can't be trusted to make decisions for their own vaginas or for the rest of us either. Anyway, I hope you like this intro video I made, and I hope you'll swipe right on my profile. But I guess given that you're a lady, you can't be held responsible if you're too stupid or emotional to do so. At least that's what I assume about women, since the only one who ever lets me near her is my mom. Occasionally. When I haven't pissed her off lately.
A visibly surprised team of doctors at Colorado State Hospital made an announcement this morning that their team leader said he, quote, couldn't believe they were making. We had a reporter on the scene who brought us the details of this rather unusual press conference.
It is with an absolute flood of surprise and shock that we stand here today. Needless to say, I don't think that any of us thought it would turn out this way, and God knows we did everything in our power to make sure the information we're about to publicize is as accurate and reliable as possible. That being said, after conferring with the patient, her loved ones, and the House Republican Conference, we can pronounce Congresswoman Lauren Boebert not brain dead.
Reportedly, the announcement brought shockwaves of confusion from the members of the media who were present.
I can tell how shocked and confused you all are right now, as if a shockwave of those emotions have just washed over you, and let me assure you, that is the same sense of shock we all felt. Even an untrained layperson can sense that Ms. Boebert is stupid as fuck, medically speaking, just based on her tweets and public speaking. So when we were tasked with finding out if she is clinically brain dead, we all were fairly certain of the outcome of the brainwave tests we did on her before we administered them. To find out she's indeed not brain dead after all this will go down as one of the most shocking moments of my career.
Though it's true that Ms. Boebert isn't brain dead, that doesn't mean her brain is normal, according to Dr. Hornady.
One thing to note, though, is that despite the fact that she is not brain dead, her brain is still composed of faults, racism, and checks from the NRA. So this is likely the explanation for why she comes off as brain dead, but is really just that gallingly fucking dumb.
But for you, because I consider you a close Chingadera fanatic, 1999, hit us up, chsn.com. You could also call if that's,
Learning Stuff's got a new show the whole family can watch. It's Barry Deagle, the wildlife expert eagle. Each week, join Barry as he highlights a new species of animal for you to learn all about just months, weeks, days, or even hours before the very last one dies off forever, thanks to the effects of climate change and poaching. It's a fun-filled, fact-packed, dystopian nightmare of a fun time outdoors with your pal, Barry Deagle, the wildlife expert eagle. Coming up on KPBC's Weekend Edition, we'll talk to a man who was in his mid-40s in the 1990s and why he thought at that time he was the best person to talk to teenage girls about their purity, how many purity rings he sold, and how much longer he'll be in prison serving his sentence for having inappropriate sexual contact with a minor. Saturday and Sunday at 6:30 a.m., right here on KPBC.
1-888-345-6789. This is only $19.99 plus shipping and handling. It's a vintage hairy spaceman, small. It's one piece.
Ow, man, those nails really fucking hurt. I mean, not as much as a hunting rifle's bullet, but damn, those nails really smart.
Dear Jesus. New episodes every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Don't miss this week's How I Wound Up Fucking Your Mom. I took her out on a date, and apparently she thought I was cute, and I thought she was cute, so we fucked. How I Ended Up Fucking Your Mom. Saturday nights at 8:30 p.m. Anyway, say hi to her for me, and hope your dad's doing okay at his new job. And now, great moments in passive-aggressive history.
Excuse me, but are they really that great? It's not that I don't trust your judgment, it's just that it's obvious that you don't trust my judgment. No, it's no big deal. Really, it's fine. You probably do have better taste and can discern what's truly passive-aggressive and what isn't, more than I could. I'm sure of it. Really sure of it.
Did you remember to take your boner pill? Take Turgitify, and you don't have to. Turgitify, the only FDA-approved permanent boner pill.
Hey, lover. You're bees deep in the fucking Food Network. Your only choice for non-stop food porn. And now, back to waffles.
It's not my uterus, but let's pretend it is. Let's not forget that God designed your vagina just for holding all my jizz. And when that jizz gets inside of you, it makes a baby new. That's when you realize the body you live in rarely isn't just for you. It's for breaking baby goo. never be pregnant. But why is
The a-hole. Where else you gonna go? We literally burned down every other burger joint because they were little bitches. And we had gas and matches. Allegedly.
It's a space. It's a hairy man from space. Look at him go.
This weekend, don't miss Weekend Cat in the newest episode of Paws on the Greater San Fernando Valley. He's got an exclusive look at a local restaurant that's only charging $5 to park, $8 to order, and $100 to get your bill at the end of the night. And boy, are the Hollywood celebs flocking over the hill to slum it with the plebes. Let's take a look at your 5-day algorithmic forecast, brought to you by Jumbo's Skunkapalooza restaurant. Jumbo's, because shrimp and skunk pretty much taste the same. To absolutely nobody's surprise, it's looking to be 5 solid days of cringe boomer memes. As we get closer to and through the election, algorithmic forecasters are predicting that we could see weeks, maybe even months at a time of this wave of racist, idiotic, Christian nationalists complaining about how the 20th century happened, and none of us want to be dragged back to the Stone Ages. We'll bring you another 5-day algorithmic forecast tomorrow. Down in the nation's floppy dong. Well, actually, it doesn't matter what our next story or any of the rest of our stories in this broadcast are. I just received word from our producer Billy that Chemtech, the global chemical and dildo conglomerate that owns KPBC News, has deemed the rest of our news stories unimportant or too important to tell you about. But don't ask me which were which, because I would be fired if I told you, and you have no clue how expensive catnip is. Goodbye, everyone.